Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the MMA Huddle, and thank you for tuning in. We are back with a double hitter. UFC have got the TUF finale on, and then they have the pay-per-view Australia card on. So we're hitting you with a double whammy. It's going to be kind of it's going to be rush, bro, is it? But we're going to be hitting it hard, getting it done, because two cards, it's a lot to break down. So if you do feel like you want to ask us any more particular fights, because we do have it in the comment section where people ask about certain fights, do feel that if you would like a bit more as to why we pick certain people, mention it below. We'll happily give our bit more in-depth review. Alright, so it's only because it's two cards, a lot of fights, so we're going to try and get through this. Before all that, hit that button down below, hit that subscribe button. I think we're up to 270 plus now, which is awesome. 370. 370, sorry. Gosh, yeah. my bad. Yeah, 370 plus. I can't even count, can I? I think it's like 376, I want to say. I could be very wrong. But yeah, please do give us a follow. Oh gosh, let me get rid of that. Get rid of your stupid, bloody, pissing adverts on bloody YouTube. Let me go in here, folks. Here we go. We are up to, not that anyone probably listens to, 273, 373. But if we get to 400 maybe before the end of the year, that'd be incredible. But any likes or subscribes would be greatly appreciated. So hit that button below. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you have any of those social medias, give us a follow on there. You can find when we release anything or pop anything up on there. I've got a couple of interviews coming your way too. So, let's jump straight into the Ultimate Fighter finale coming on, the heavy hitters, which is a weird one because they haven't got that many tough fighters from the show on. When I looked at it a few weeks back, there was a few names, and then they've added some more names. It's actually pretty much just a fight night card with a couple of tough fights on. Don't get me wrong, it's quite a good few names. We'll start at the bottom now. I haven't got the full order yet. Uh-oh. Poor internet connection. It's okay at the moment, folks. We're having a bit of a technical pain in the hoop, but we'll go with it. I've got here, we're going to go with the Wikipedia list that we have at the moment. All right, so I've got Boston Salmon against Khalid Taha. We'll start. No, has that been cut off, has it?
That's gone. Like that fight. I think they're still trying to get Boston Salmon a fight, I believe. But I think that fight's gone. I only just heard that this afternoon myself, so I think Taha pulled out. So yeah.
Okay, well, one fight down. Ooh, sweet. That'll save us some time. So if Boston Salmon gets a fight, if he does get a matchup, we'll pick Boston Salmon. There you go. Yeah. At the moment. Okay, so we'll go bantamweights anyway. Here we go. We're going to go with Raoni Barcelos against Chris Gutierrez. Will kick us off.
Good fight. This could be a really, really good fight. I think both guys are really, really aggressive. This Gutierrez kid that comes in, he's known as like a big hitter. He's got a lot of power. He can really strike and put some power on you. And Barcelos is a guy that I just really like watching fight. I think he's a really good, solid fighter, but I see that he's dropping down to 135 for the first time here, I think. So, coming down from 145, to be honest with you, that fight with Horrible, you could tell the size difference in that fight. It was a great fight. You could totally see the size difference between them. And it was just a banger. It was a great fight, and it was a great finish in the third round. One of my favourite fights of the year. But he's a guy that's just a really solid fighter. Always has been. Gets a lot of finish. And he's beat like guys already in the UFC. That Bobby Moffett who won a few weeks ago. Dan Moret who won, who's in the UFC. Black belt, good striking. Just a really good fighter. Gutierrez is coming in. Like I say, he got a lot of power. But last fight, he showed off his ground game against Ray Rodriguez, where he got him down, and Rodriguez is actually a black belt, and he caught him with a choke, and that was only like 5-6 weeks ago. So the guy's fresh. He'll probably be in great condition, ready to go. And like I say, he's got good wins. Jimmy Flick's quite a good win as well. Flick's not guy in the world out in the regionals in America, and Mario Israel is another one. If you go back further, he fought in WSOF against Timur Valiev, and he did kind of get ragdolled in that one a little bit, but Valiev's a really good striker, a really good fighter, I should say. I'm going to go with Raoni Barcelos, but I think Chris has got a good opportunity to win this fight. I'll be honest with you. This was a fight when I was like, oh, I might bait this dude. But I think this might be one that I might just stay away, because I think this Gutierrez picked Barcelos to win late. Win via decision. But I can see it being quite close, back and forward, bro.
Yeah. Oh, you are having a laugh. Here we go, we're back again. Here we go. It cut out there. Gosh darn it. Yep, so technical editing might be a bit funky on this. Who knows? Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm with Barcelos. He is a black belt, but the guy doesn't like to use it. He just likes, he cracks. Like, he put Holoblog out and he cracked him. Like, so I want to see what kind of power he can bring to the bantamweight division. If he brings the size and weight and power still, he's going to be a force. Because if you, he throws with such heavy hands because he's got in his back pocket that black belt. He's got that confidence and that kind of swagger to be able to throw heavy. Because he's like, cool, I don't mind if you want to take me down. Let's go to the ground. You know, that's my bread and butter. And that's something that I think, if you can have a strong grappling ground game, it frees you up on the stand-up. Another good one example is Charles Oliveira. He's starting to flourish a bit more with the striking because he doesn't mind getting taken down because that's where he really wants to be. So he throws a lot more shots these days, a bit more power. Barcelos for me, you know, Gutierrez, like you said about the World Series of Fighting matchup, that was there was huge flaws in his game where he got dominated by a wrestler, but the problem was he didn't show enough on the ground to threaten someone. So all his game, Gutierrez is stand. And like you said, mate, I think him and Barcelos are going to light this card up. If they're starting the card, I'd be gutted. I think they should be probably maybe, you know, a bit further up in the card, but if they kick this card off, they could potentially get forgotten about as potential fight of the night winners because this is going to be fireworks. I want Barcelos. I think Barcelos can stop Gutierrez because dude hits so hard. I'm going to go second round Barcelos. I think he's going to bring that power and catch Gutierrez out. But yeah, like you say, Gutierrez is going to be game to fight with him, man. I can't wait for this matchup. Next up, we have listed in the welterweight division is Tim Means against Rick Rainey. Rick Rainey came in, got his UFC debut, got stopped. He came in because it was a hometown guy as well. Short notice kind of hometown. It was his hometown, so and he fought previously on Bellator. Don't get me wrong, the guy is definitely at the latter stages of his career. He did the UFC as solid and came in short notice. He's not a bad fighter. He isn't bad at all. He's got some good wins and bad losses. Like he lost to Michael Venom Page, Bellator. But and I think it's not a gripe on him, but I think just Venom Page has not had really great fights, and to lose to him early on in his career, I think he should have had maybe pushed him a bit more. But anyway, Tim Means is very aggressive. And I love Tim Means, even though he's got a couple of losses and people lose. But Tim Means is one of them guys, you know what you're going to get with him. He's not going to cut corners. He's going to come at you. He's got great array of strikes, elbows, punches, kicks, knees, just everything you want in a guy and a fighter. I think the pace that Tim Means offers will put Ricky off a lot. It's going to be quite constant barrage of striking for 3 rounds. And if you watch Ricky's fights, he's not a high output kind of guy. He's very patient with his striking. I think Tim Means is just a level above what Ricky can offer. And I think, if I'm honest for you, I think Ricky's there for the taking. I think Tim Means can get a good finish. If you can get him in the clinch, definitely in the clinch game, Tim Means is just a horrible human being. Get in the clinch, single collar tie, bring an elbow right across the chin of Ricky and put him to sleep. I'm going to go Tim Means. I'm going to go second round again, another second round stoppage, because I think Ricky's got a bit of a chin on him because he showed it in his last fight as well. He can take a few punches, but I think he does break down, and I think Tim Means will get the better of him, probably maybe second, if not second, third round.
Let me see. I think that Tim Means is going to eat Ricky Rainey alive in this fight. I really do. I think his pressure and just his output is going to be far too much for Ricky Rainey. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think Ricky Rainey's really a UFC kind of caliber fight, and I think he kind of got dealt with fairly easily against Muslim Salikov. Getting another shot here in the UFC. Tim Means, I think he's kind of at that point where he could descend a little bit. I think sometimes he fights above his level, and sometimes you see him fight below his level. You've seen that a few times, but I think he's a level or two ahead of what Ricky Rainey is. I think he eats him up, like you said, in the clinch. I think you could hit him with all different array of strikes. Hurting pressure will absolutely kill Ricky Rainey, and he will stop him. I'd be surprised if this goes into the third round, put it that way. So the first 2 rounds, first 10 minutes of the fight, I think Tim Means wins via TKO.
Nice. Roosevelt Roberts versus Darrell Horcher next up in the lightweights. How do you see this one going down, bro?
Yeah, this was one I kind of forgot about Roosevelt Roberts because it's just sometimes with these new guys in the Dana White show, it's a name that just doesn't bounce off you. And he faced that Garrett Gross, and to me, I think that was a really good fight for him.
Yeah.
That guy, that's supposed to be a show for guys with kind of a lot of wins, not too many losses.
Gross was like a 500 fighter, wasn't he? Just
not far off
12-7 at the time. Now he's probably 12-8. So yeah.
So he's not far off being like a 500 fighter, and like he kind of did what he's supposed to. He kind of dominated on the ground. I think he's one of these guys who's really good at kind of ragdolling people. I think he can ragdog on people. But Darrell Horcher is a guy that's been around. He's not the highest level fighter you're ever going to see. I mean, he's been around for a wee bit. He's been ragdolled by the champion of the division. Came back after a serious injury. Won a fight against Devin Powell. Devin Powell's not any good. Scott Holtzman, I think we've seen that he's making progressions with his career. So it's just whether Roosevelt Roberts can. Really, I don't see a hell of a lot between these guys except for the fact there's a big experience kind of gap, and he's been around a long time. But I think if Roosevelt Roberts can get his hands on him and just start putting him down, I think that might break the spirit of Darrell Horcher. So I'm going to go Roosevelt Roberts, actually. I think he's going to start quick and then just kind of maintain through the fight, and I think that's when maybe Horcher has to kind of insert himself more. He might get caught getting too aggressive, get taken down again. So I feel more confident picking Roosevelt Roberts in this spot.
Yeah, it's a hard one to pick. I'm with you on that one. It's cause from watching Roosevelt outside of the Ultimate Fighter, he wasn't that polished of a striker either. Even though he said that's why it took so long to get into the pro ranks, because in his amateur game you need to bring up his striking and everything else. And even still, I thought it still wasn't that polished. It still wasn't as clean as it could be. He got that that lucky start with the Dana White show to get into the UFC, but I'm still tentative. I think that there's guys that are going to absolutely starch Roosevelt going forward. I think he's a comfortable start form with Horcher. He's a good fit for anyone starting off. I think Horcher's just a tough guy. He's just a good one for you. Just he won't offer too much, but Horcher can crack. That's the only problem you've got to be careful of. He rocked Holtzman as well in the last fight. So I think as long as Roberts can just be careful, keep him at a distance, and then if he gets a takedown, just kind of use the grappling to take over there. But I'm going to go with Roberts' decision, but it's only because I just think Horcher's just a bit of a tough nugget, and I think he can make it through till the end, only because I'm not sure how much power Roberts has got, really. Next up, we have in the flyweight division, a rebooked bout for Joseph Benavidez, because he was meant to fight Ray Borg previously a few weeks back, but obviously that fell through because Ray Borg didn't get medically cleared. And then he's got himself a bout against Alex Perez. Alex Perez, folks, who his last win was an absolute stonkingly entertaining bout against Josie Torres. So I think it's a weird one. Again, it's a flyweight fight. What is going on with the flyweights? Well, at the moment, it seems they're just going and getting dispersed, and it's almost like they're giving these last few matchups. They go ahead and they'll say to everyone, you're staying, you're going, you're going to bantamweight. If you don't, you go. And if I'm Benavidez, I never thought he was a big flyweight either. So I'm not sure how well Benavidez would do at bantamweight. You know, maybe Benavidez steps away after this. Who knows? Or he goes to maybe another promotion. I think Benavidez maybe at ONE FC or, you know, wherever could be a good fit. But anyway, the match itself, I just think that Benavidez is so much more experienced in the high levels of the game than Alex Perez. He should be able to handle this fight. Perez showed a great array of striking. He's very aggressive in his last fight. I just think that Benavidez experience, the wrestling game that he can offer, the submission game that he can threaten Perez with. I've got to go with a more experienced fighter here. I've got to go with Benavidez. It's so hard to go against Benavidez. He's that good. I just think that he can get the win against Perez, who's stepping in to face a tough challenge for himself. I think that Benavidez can get the better of him. And I'm going to go with submission win for Benavidez. I think he might get a little cheeky submission win. Maybe I'm going to go third round for Benavidez. Submission win. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the fights I'm looking forward to. What I see out of Alex Perez, I like Team Oyama is just a really good team, like a really good solid outfit, and they're on a good run of winning fights at the minute, so the confidence must be high. And what I like about Perez as well, this is like his 26th fight, so he's got a lot of experience. Maybe not against his levels of experience is obviously fairly different to what Joseph Benavidez is, but I mean, that fight against Jose Torres, oh my god, he came out there and he whooped on Shorty Torres, and I thought that fight was going to be close, and it really wasn't close. He absolutely whooped Jose Torres' ass, and Eric Shelton, he got takedowns in that one, dominated, then got the submission in his first fight in the UFC. This is the big fight here to see where we list, for the simple fact that Benavidez is as hard a fight as you're going to get in the flyweight division, however long it stays around, because the guy's been around and he only loses to really, really solid fight. I think his worst loss is actually to Sergio Pettis last time out, and I think that was a little bit of ring rust to add to that fight. There's no way he comes back and he looks as bad as he did in that fight, and I think that this is the kind of veteran lesson that Alex Perez is going to get here, that there's still a few levels that you need to go up. There's another few levels, there's more things that you need to work on to go up to those levels. I think it will be relatively close, but I still favour Benavidez in those type of fights. I think he's smart, he's savvy. But if he's not on form like he was the last time, then Philip Rivers touchdown again. Cardinals and the Chargers are going on, so it's me against John here, and John win pretty easy. I could start by the Cardinals, but I'm going to pick Joseph Benavidez. Split decision, but I like Benavidez as a pick in this one here.
Okay, nice little tighter. Another fun matchup again, coming at you in the featherweight division. Rick Glenn, short notice step in, Kevin Aguilar, which it's a long time coming for Kevin, it feels like, because he's just been, doing what he's been doing on the regional scene, but he's getting that opportunity to step into the big lights. Will, how do you see these two going down, man?
Another good fight. It's a bit of a shame that Arnie was in this card fighting Arnold Allen was supposed to be fighting Melendez. He pulled out. Glenn came in and Arnie pulled out. So a shame. But like Kevin Aguilar's a guy that if you watch the sport a lot, you probably heard his name being bandied around before his Dana White appearance, where he pretty much, I don't want to say dominated the fight against Joey Gomez because it was split. I don't think he fought at his kind of full potential in that fight, to be honest with you. Very aggressive, very dangerous with his hands, won championships in other organisations. That always builds the confidence kind of going forward. Tan Lee is a guy that we kind of know through the Ultimate Fighter, and Damon Jackson was an ex-UFC vet. And he's only lost against Leonard Garcia, and that was way back in 2013. And Garcia, that kind of got into a rock'em sock'em kind of fight, and he just got caught, which happens sometimes. But Rick Glenn's this is a tough fight, I think, for Aguilar, because Rick Glenn is so experienced. Like 20, coming on 30 fights, I think, fighting out Team Alpha Male. And I think you need to be a pretty decent grappler with this guy to kind of beat him. I think Bermudez was a good grappler, but I just thought that Rick Glenn kind of outworked him a little bit and gave him Dennis kind of let him have more of that fight than I initially thought that he would. I'm kind of struggling with this one a wee bit. I'm going to go Rick Glenn, actually. I think I'm going to go a close decision again. I think it's a close fight. I think if he has to fight smart, if he's into a firefight with Aguilar, he could get caught with something, and then that could kind of turn the tide of the fight. So I'm going to go Rick Glenn via split decision. I think it's going to be close. Yeah,
it's hard because Glenn's got that weird motion where it's hard to catch his timings. So he catches a lot of people out because he's not, I don't want to say predictable, but it's just so hard to there's no kind of signal for when he's coming, when he's going, and look, it works for him. You know, he's got that weird bobbing head movement as well, which is just like, I watch him and I'm like, I wonder if you can time it so you can up kick him on the chin when he puts it down, but you just don't know when he's going to do it. It's just, like Aguilar, like you say, he can throw. He's got good hands. When he gets to the ground on his back, I find that good grapplers, when they get him on his back, he gets a bit stuck, and it's almost like he doesn't. I don't think he does enough to get up sometimes in some of the bouts that I watch of him, and I think that's where, for me, his kind of sticking point comes. He's got good power in his hands, even into the third round. In some of his fights that he's had, he stopped guys later on. To be fairly tired out, but I noticed you can get him down. So I'd be interested in what kind of wrestling Rick Glenn has done with Team Alpha Male to see if he maybe implements it into this fight, tries to bait Aguilar into a bit of a battle and just shoots in and gets a takedown. Super interested to see how that goes down. But yeah, I go with Rick Glenn as well, only because I just feel that he's almost like a he's like a Darren Elkins, like just awkward. They're just awkward, weird timings and movements. So I go Rick Glenn decision because I think he's got enough to keep the range there, keep him at distance, and just use experience, like you said there. Well, he's got tons of fight time under his belt. He's fought guys who are short, long, everything. He's fought wrestlers, strikers, the lot. Rick Glenn. He's fought everything. Same as Aguilar, but I just think Rick's just got more of a fight IQ on that sense. So I'll go Rick Glenn decision. I want to go, strong decision for Rick Glenn. Next up, we have in the women's flyweight division another short notice step in, because it was meant to be Ashley Evans-Smith who was meant to fight against Antonina Shevchenko, but Evans pulled out, and has stepped in is Yeon Kim. Now, kudos to Kim for stepping in, because I don't think there's a lot of girls who were knocking on the door wanting to fight Shevchenko after she did her little demolition bout on The Ultimate Fighter. Was that a more suitable fight for her to get into the show and get into the UFC? Maybe. Shevchenko, as we all know, her sister was fighting for the belt against JJ at the 125 division, so we know the background. Muay Thai kickboxing, just high level striking. But as we saw with Valentina, that she has got a grappling aspect and a submission game. Now you've got to remember, the sisters train together. They literally live out each other's pockets. So you've got to basically take the skill set that Valentina's got and put it into a sister and think, she's probably got that skill set as well. She's probably got the submission game, the grappling defense game. To that extent, where I've seen a bit of it. She does go to more decisions, but then again, being the fighters that she has fought, maybe she's just getting used to the MMA scene, because I believe this is only a fifth. She only had 5 fights, is it? I think it is. So MMA is different. She has to adjust for it. I think that Kim is a good all-round fighter, solid fighter. She offers a, in my opinion, just a bit of a low output, and I think that she'll have a bit of difficulty keeping that distance in the range that she needs it to be. Shevchenko's going to have those long kicks. She's going to use the straights to keep her on the end. And if anything, if Kim starts to close it down, Shevchenko's just going to Muay Thai, nice little Muay Thai clinch, nice clinch there, and knee her to shreds. And what people don't realise is Muay Thai is a lot of grappling, so with that clinch, there's a lot of trips that can be involved in there. Shevchenko, obviously, she's got really nice long body, so those trips she can really get good torque on there. So, and if she needs to go to the ground, she'll take it down. And with Shevchenko, I think Kim's tough, so I think she can make it to a decision. So I'm going to give Kim the benefit of the doubt. I think she can tough it out. Decision for Shevchenko.
Yeah, initially when I saw this match and I started watching a couple of fights, I really liked Yeon Kim. I thought she was going to give her a good fight. I thought she was going to give her a very good close fight. But as you watch kind of more fights of Shevchenko, I think you need to be the type of person who can grapple and strike with her. I think that Yeon Kim can strike with her. I think she's going to get counter-struck a little bit. I think she's going to get hit a little bit more than she will hit Shevchenko. I don't think there's a takedown threat from the South Korean here. That's something I think you need to have with Antonina Shevchenko. I was actually thinking about betting Yeon Kim as well. I saw the line. It was at went back and watched a couple of fights. I just think that she might get out volumed in this fight, because I don't think it's going to hit the ground. If it hits the ground and she can establish getting takedowns, then I think Shevchenko could be in a lot of trouble. But just be a little bit too fast, a little bit too varied with her striking, and probably just kind of outwork for three whole rounds and just kind of outwork her for maybe a 30-27, 29-28 close decision maybe. 30-27 is not very close, but 29-28 could be.
Well, it is, because I think remember, they can be close rounds, but you still get a 10 and 9.
That's what I'm trying to get. Yeah, I think they're going to be close rounds, but Antonina might just get the nod in all three of the rounds. But I mean, this is probably our biggest step up. It's a big step up from what she's before. So, I'm not saying that Yeon Kim's a world beater by any chance, but she's got 2 wins in the UFC. Could have 3. That fight with Lucy was very close as well. So, I'm going to go Antonina via decision.
Oh, nice. Next up in the middleweight division, we have UK flying the British flag here. Darren Stewart taking on Edmen. Here we go. Shahbazyan. All right. Mental name. All right. So, Will, how do you see these two guys?
I just couldn't find fights. Like, literally could not find fights on Shahbazyan. It was really
not
tough.
Lot, is there? Not a lot.
There was an amateur bout I found. I think there was a highlight video of one of his fights, but I don't even know whether it's him or not. It's not the best video for it. And then there was one of his fights out there, and obviously the Dana White show. I think it was one of his early bouts that I think was him, where he won via TKO in the first round, but still I'm not sure. And then there's the ground and pound win over Antonio Jones in the Dana White Contender Series. This is a big step up. When you look at his face, like his last one was a 7-1, fair dues, that's a good record.
So yeah, Antonio's record's the same as his. A lot of cans, 7 cans, mate. So yeah, so Antonio had the same record as Edmen going in, so the pair of them were both on the kind of same rough beginning. So yeah, carry on, bro, from Edmen.
Yeah. Plus he's from Glendale Fight Club.
Which
really, that's all you really need to be kind of saying. Trainer there, so it's just not that much to see of the kid. And Darren Stewart looks to me like he's in his pomp. He looks like he's found his stride in the UFC, got his confidence. I think maybe the first few fights in the UFC, maybe he didn't truly believe he was a UFC fighter, or he just couldn't find the confidence or whatever it was. But now he's found it, and now it looks like he's running with it, and he looks really, really good. And he's taking this fight. I mean, he only fought early September, and he's got himself another fight. So fair play to the guy for getting himself back in there and getting himself in there quick before the end of the year. 2 wins over Spicely, both stoppages in the second round. Not unless this Shahbazyan's some kind of miracle kind of striker or whatever. I think that someone like that Darren Stewart's going to take him down. I think he could potentially submit him or ground. Darren Stewart's got really good solid ground and pound as well. I think that's where we might see a little bit more of this here. I think he might take him down and kind of get some ground and pound on him and finish him some part of this fight. I like Darren Stewart pretty handily, actually.
Yeah, I've interviewed Darren Stewart, folks, and the interview is in the link to go and listen to. But yeah, I'm quite high on Darren on this too. I'm watching the footage of what I could of Edmen, watching his footwork, which Edmen has got no footwork really. He's not got the right movement. Quite static. Kind of low level. I think that Darren's got the footwork. He's quite light on his feet. He could easily move around and get away from Edmen's shots and counter him with power. Like Darren cracks. Like Darren can hit hard, folks. I think that Darren's got all the tools right now that he needs to put Edmen away. I think, like you said, Will, he's on a roll. Momentum's high. He's feeling good. Everything in life is kind of falling into place for him outside of the cage as well. Mental aspect is there. I'm going Darren as well. I think first round it could put Edmen away. I'm going to go first round stoppage for Darren. I think he's got that pop in his hands, so I think he can get it done. Next up, we're going to go for bantamweight division. Interesting fight, man. Interesting. Pedro Munhoz against Bryan Caraway. Bryan Caraway's gotten over the heartache of Misha Tate going with someone else and having a child with him after about 2 weeks. So yeah, and she's off in Singapore. I think she's living in Singapore now, doing the thing for a couple of years, won championship. So he's absolutely devastated, probably. But he's finally moving on, ish. Man, it's like it's a grappling dream, this matchup. You know, I just want the two of them to go to the ground. I don't care about anything else. I don't want them to strike. I want one of these guys to shoot in for the other guy straight away and get the fight to the ground. I don't want to see it standing. I just want to see these two just wrap each other's legs up, go for heel hooks and guillotines and all sorts, and have an absolute great time grappling. Sadly, though, I don't think it'll happen. I think the pair of them are going to stand and bang, because the pair of them are so aware of each other's abilities to get the guillotine, for example, on a shoot. Someone shoots in, especially Munhoz. Gosh, Bryan Caraway better to be mind his P's and Q's going for a takedown on Mr. Munhoz. Bryan Caraway, I think he's okay on the striking. He does enough to what he needs to be doing. I'm going to go with Pedro Munhoz, though. There's something about Caraway, even though he's always around the kind of top bit where he needs to be. Somehow gets those wins, but it's just something about Caraway. I think as well. Maybe I don't know if is not as being active as much as I'd like him to be in the past few years. I think lack of activity can play a factor, but I'm quite high on Munhoz. I think I'm going to go with Munhoz, maybe even taking it to the ground. Want to go to the ground with Caraway. I just don't. There's something about Caraway. I just can't pick him. I'm trying to be. Yeah, I'm gonna go Munhoz decision.
Yeah, it's always hard picking against Bryan Caraway. Yeah. It's just he's squirrely and he's hard. He's hard to kind of to face. He's hard to just fade in a fight. Coming off a loss, his story actually. I've watched some of his interviews. Like he's had since Misha left him, he's had some kind of tough stuff going down with. I think his father's kind of started losing dementia and stuff like that. So it's quite tough, and he's still caring for his cousin, I think, who had an accident a few years ago. So he's had a fairly tough time of it, and obviously the whole Misha situation. But when he steps into the cage, he's just a tough guy to face. Doesn't matter who he's against. I thought he was gonna. I think I picked him to win against Corey Stamen last time, and it was very close. I think Corey just landed the better shots. This fight again, I think it's going to be close. Pedro Munhoz is coming off an absolute wild beating of Brett Johns. He absolutely dismantled Brett Johns, and a little bit kind of curious about his fight, kind of IQ in that fight, because he downed him with leg kicks and then jumped on leg locks when he could have really been falling up with ground and pound. Now I know he's one of these submission guys that he's probably got a great grip on him, which we've seen in the past. If he gets a grip or something around your neck, you're in deep trouble. And Bryan Caraway will be in the same position, because I think he puts it on that quick and with that so much force that you're going to be tapping out really quick. I thought Brett Johns give him a massive pat in the back for surviving in that fight and sticking around, because he was getting beat up pretty badly.
He toughed it out, didn't he?
Yeah. I've been wanting to pick Bryan Caraway in this. I think it's going to be close. I really do. I think Bryan Caraway has to initiate some type of grappling, I think, to win this fight. I don't think he outstrikes someone like Pedro Munhoz. I find that hard to see. So he's going to have to find a way to get Munhoz to the ground and kind of keep his body weight on him and not let him get his legs in there, leave a limb out there. But ultimately, I'm going to pick Pedro Munhoz. I'm going to pick him via decision. But I think if it starts getting close and Caraway can find a way to get takedowns and don't get hurt by what Munhoz is throwing or the submissions that he's throwing up, then I think he's live in this fight. But I feel like Pedro Munhoz might just have maybe a few more tools for Bryan Caraway than what Caraway has for Munhoz. So Munhoz via decision.
And next up we have the main event of the evening. Rafael dos Anjos against Mr. Usman, the Nigerian Nightmare. Dang, what a fight. Gosh, I'm happy that Usman has got a top name to face as well in the welterweight division. He's been tearing up dudes, finally got that kind of matchup. I thought he might have got Punzi, but this matchup happened. Will, exciting fight to see. What do you see going down, man?
I think it's a really good fight, and I'm seeing a lot of people like really writing off Rafael dos Anjos after the Colby Covington fight. I think this is going to be a different fight to that one. I really do. I don't think it's. I know people say that some people say that Usman and Covington are a little bit similar in how they approach fights and their grappling wise, and I think that this is another clear step up for Kamaru Usman. I think dos Anjos has been at the top of the game. He's been around for a long time. He's faced the best guys across two divisions. I picked dos Anjos against Covington, but Covington I think showed up in that fight and showed what he's all about. And if Usman does the same, I expect him to win. But I still think it's a really, really hard fight for Usman here. And I think he has to prove a point. If this guy wants to get a title shot, I think he needs to get RDA out of there. And dos Anjos is not an easy guy to get out of there. It just doesn't happen. Apart from Eddie Alvarez and Clay Guida back in the day where he broke his jaw, and Jeremy Stevens knocking him out. This guy's just hard to, like, he's been knocked out 3 times in 10 years or stopped 3 times in 10 years. And Usman hasn't shown that he's really got the capability of stopping fights, and I think he fights safe a little bit sometimes, but he wins the fight very, very dominantly in doing that. So undefeated in his UFC tenure, good wins on his record. This is a clear step up to anything he's faced, though. Damian Maia was that step up. Bad fight, won the fight fairly easily. Now he's got dos Anjos. Dos Anjos is always dangerous with his jiu-jitsu, with his striking, with his leg kicks. I think that if Usman turns on a pace on him, though, you could start to break him down a little bit. Now, if he was to stop dos Anjos here, he's right in line. Nobody's going to, well, saying that, Ben Askren's the kind of asterisk mark in this division, I think. Because if he starts to win fights, you're going to have to match him up with these top guys, and I don't see someone like Usman wanting to fight someone like Ben Askren. I just don't see it.
I don't think any wrestler wants to fight him.
Yeah,
strikers will want to fight him because they'll think they'll have a chance on the feet. But if you're a grappler, nah. No.
So I think decisive win is needed here. If he goes out here and does say what he did against Emil Make, where he says, I'm only 30% did it. If he does that, then you're not going to get yourself a title fight. So I'll pick Usman. I'll pick him via a TKO round number 4. We've seen that he's got power. We've seen that in the Rise fight. If he commits to the big guy, he's got a lot of power. So, but dos Anjos I think is a live fighter in this fight. Also, I think that he's got a good opportunity to potentially cause a big upset here. And I've seen the betting lines and they're a little bit off, to say the least. Dos Anjos is like a 3-1 underdog.
Yeah, a lot of people going on heavy on
crazy to me that a former UFC champion is that big of an underdog. So I'm going to pick Kamaru Usman. I'm going to pick him via TKO round number 4.
Okay, nice. Can you switch your camera off and back on, bro? You've froze like this.
And John's away again.
And I'm away again. Oh gosh, here we go. Blinking internet. Sorry folks, Skype is just having an absolute horror show tonight. It's not our fault. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this matchup. When I heard it was announced, I was very, very happy as a fan. I think that, I think we're actually going to see Usman full potential here. And what I mean by that is, like we said, he's dominated in the past, but he's not even shown everything he can do. He's dominated fights where he probably could have finished the guys or put a bit more into it. He's not breathing heavy after the fights. He's shown he's got great conditioning. I think that he's going to start releasing those tools now. He's starting to get those fights that he needs to finish those big guys, those big names. And I think this is his coming out party. Rafael dos Anjos, huge name, been around for the who's who. I think that Usman's wrestling absolutely will nullify what Rafael dos Anjos wants to try and do by keeping it standing. The go-to with Rafael is get him on his back foot. Don't let him come forward, keep him on his back foot. Don't give him space. Usman can do that. Usman can be overpowering, overwhelming, pressure fighter. And I think we'll see that. I think we'll see him just using those hands, pressure, and Rafael's going to be running around a lot to stay away from Usman to try and evade that takedown. But I think that Usman can get it. I'm confident in him. I think that he's not shown everything he can, and I think he's going to finally let it all go. I think he's going to stop Rafael. I think he's just going to get him down, like you say. I think his wrestling will he'll pin him down basically, and it'll just be an accumulation of shots that he doesn't return or stop or fight, and the referee will have to inevitably call the fight. But yeah, I'll probably go like, oh gosh, I don't know what happened there. Everything just went, and it's back to one recording. Awesome. So it's probably, is it? No, because I can see my camera and I can see yours. So why? Here we go. If I turn this off and turn it on, is it one still? No, it's back. It was mine. Here we go. So we might have switched over as well now, because it does that. It'll switch us over. So I'm going to go with Mr. Usman. I'm going to go second round. Oh. Unbelievable. Here we go. It's back again. Fuck. I'm going to go with Usman. You go fourth. I'm going to go third. I'm going to get it even earlier. I'm going to go crazy, go third. Usman, third round. You go TKO. I'm going to go submission.
Oh.
Crazy man I am. Absolutely wild. So that is the Ultimate Fighter Heavy Hitters Finale card, which is basically a fight night card with 2 Ultimate Fighter fights on. And we're going to go over to Australia. Kicking off the card again. Not got the full breakdown of the order in which fights are going to be made, because they made some like kind of last minute adjustments and guys pulling out, guys jumping in, all this jazz. Start off with Elias Garcia stepping in to fight Cara France in the flyweight division. And this again, it's a strange one, but I think Elias Garcia's smart move by Elias. I think he's just jumping in, trying to say, look, I know I lost to De La Rosa, but I'm still here, still relevant. Keep me. I don't think they will. I think Elias Garcia is quite small. I don't think he'd even make bantamweight. Even like I think he'd be absolutely. I think he'd be undersized immensely in that weight class. So I feel bad for Elias, but I think he's going to probably have to go with this call that they're doing the division. The same one for Cara France. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if it... Anyway, so matchup though, man, Elias Garcia's got a tough fight because Cara France just is a heavy hitter, comes forward, very aggressive. Elias Garcia likes to have... He's like the Pettis brothers, you know? That's why he's at that camp. That's why he's... it's cousins. I think he's cousins with him, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he kind of copies their style. Patient, space, time, you know, and he's aware of the... If you've got a hole somewhere with your hands down low or your hands up too high, he's got that awareness to manipulate and take advantage of that. I don't think he's going to get it. I think it's a bad idea to step in, but he's doing it for the right reasons. I think it's a bad matchup. I think, even though I don't rate Cara France that highly at all, I think he's going to hurt Elias Garcia. I think he's going to be stronger, bigger, more powerful. I think he's just going to overwhelm him. And I think he could actually stop Elias here in this, I know, second round, but I think he's just going to absolutely obliterate him with power. I think he's just going to hit him so hard, he's not going to have an answer for Elias. So I'm going to go second round stoppage for Cara France, but he could even be the first.
Yeah, like I've been waiting for a while for Cara France to get his chance in the UFC. I thought he would have been signed a little bit quicker than what he has been. He's a guy that he was on Ultimate Fighter a couple of years back. And and lost to Pantoja in that fight.
Decision as well, wasn't it?
Also, he was outclassed a little bit by the overall quality of what Pantoja had, but he's a guy that I've knew about for probably 5 years. I remember he faced a guy by the name of Gustavo Falcaroli, who's a kind of well-known, if you watch a lot of fights outside the UFC, he's a well-known guy out of Australia, who was very tough and very good. Never really got the chance to kind of Australian. He's from Brazil. Sorry, I should say. But I think he predominantly keeps himself, fought himself in a lot of the kind of. I think he's from Brazil. He lives in Australia. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And he's kind of been there for a long time. Not seen him since he lost this year to Alan Philpott. Was a fight that kind of came to my mind there, but. Like maybe start to hurt himself in a fight like this with someone like Cara France, who's very technical, very accurate, and she's got strong overall striking. I think you need to be a really good grappler. You can nullify the striking of Cara France. I like Cara France in this fight. I think he was supposed to face Ashkan Mkhitaryan. I thought he was going to wipe the floor with him. I don't see this fight. I think Elias is better than what Ashkan is, but I like Cara France in this one. I think he could get a stoppage, because I think that Garcia leaves gaps and holes in there where you can capitalise on. But I don't really see him finishing with submissions. It has to be with strikes. I'll go by decision for Cara France.
Okay, interesting. Okay, next up, lightweight matchup. Damir Ismagulov against Alex Georges. Well, how do you see this one, man? Because I'm quite excited for Mr. Damir entering in.
He's a good guy. He's a good fighter. Not many people know who this guy is, but they're going to know.
He's a bad
very shortly. He's a bad guy out of Russia. My good friend Danny Rube, who's got Rube Sports, signing a lot of good fighters. He's got a lot of great fighters in the UFC. He's signing people from all over the place. He's got people not even in the MMA side of things. He's got Muay Thai, kickboxing, wrestling, professional wrestlers as well that he's got signed to him. So he started to tap into all the people in Russia, and there's a lot of people that he's got Peter Yan as well. Peter Yan's really solid. But this guy that's come to the UFC, not many people are going to know about him, but he's really, really good. And I'm optimistic that he comes in here. I think he can win the fight. He's got some power. He fights hard for 25 minutes. He's been that many times. He won the championship in M1. He's been there for the last 3, 4, 5 years, I'm going to say. And he's beaten guys, and not one of them's had a bad. Not one of them. So he's not been fighting cans. He's been fighting guys who've had confidence by winning fights. And I think he's got himself a shot. He was supposed to face Joe Duffy. I was picking him against Joe Duffy, by the way. I thought he was going to beat Joe Duffy. No wonder Joe Duffy dropped out of his fight, because when he saw this guy, I think it's not a bad thing to kind of step away and step out of the fight. Now, he might have got an injury, which he said he has, but yeah, this guy's coming in. Alex Georges, Lamb to the slaughter kind of comes to mind with this one. I think that I don't see him having anything for Ismagulov here. I think Damir stops him. I think he stops him with TKO first, second round. Too high level and just too good. So I'm going to go Ismagulov via TKO.
Yeah, I am with you as well. I'm going with Damir. I think he's just a far superior mixed martial artist in any facet in this matchup. If you look at Alex's record in his season of his fights, you can see that he didn't fight nowhere near the talent level. M1 is a fantastic show, produces killer after killer. But Alex fought in Australia on a regional scene against guys who aren't that good. Let's be brutally honest. Some of the matchups are horrifying. I think Alex is going to be an absolute mauling. Damir is going to be one of them guys that people avoid. Like you said, Joe Duffy. Who's Joe's new manager? The terrorist, Ali. What a surprise. Duffy pulls out when Damir gets put in there, because Ali won't be having any of that. So basically, injury, whatever you want to call it, Ali said you're out. That's what's happening, because Ali protects his boys because he didn't like them fight real fights. The terrorist, like I said. So yeah, Damir smashes it first round, easy pickings. Let's So yeah, with Nakamura being on the tail end of his career, I've got to go with Nakamura winning this fight though, because I still think that he's smart enough to know that he can't be in range of this kid because he throws those powerful shots which are kind of not calculated, little bit wild. I think Nakamura's wise enough to be able to stay out of reach, just have enough of an output to get the points on the board and get a decision win. I think it's going to be another Nakamura decision. I don't think he's going to get put away by this kid. I just think he's too wise and too knowledgeable to lose to the kid, I think. So yeah, decision win in Nakamura. Easy round-up fight.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the same. I'm kind of on the same wavelength for this fight. I think that Nakamura's just hard to look good against. It doesn't matter who you are. He's a hard fighter to look good against. You've got to really match him in every facet. And the guy's crafty. It's plain and simple. He's just a crafty guy. And I don't know if Salim's kind of at that level where he's kind of, Nakamura can bring him stuff that he's never ever seen before. But like I say, it's been a while since he fought in the UFC. Way back in 2017, over a year, so he's maybe improved a hell of a lot since then. I just find it hard. I really struggle to see how he wins this fight. I'll be honest with you. I think that not unless he catches him with a big strike, puts him out fairly early, I think Nakamura can kind of get him in takedowns, body lock, push him against the cage. I think that if Salim's can stick around, I think he can be a tough guy to face. But I'm going to go Nakamura via decision. I think it's the kind of guy that you need to be good in kind of one facet to beat him, and I think that Nakamura will just be too much for the youngster, well, the kind of youngster. He's 30 years old, but Nakamura via decision for me.
And next up we have in the lightweight division, we have Hirota against Giorgos. Christos Giorgos. We'll break down this highly interesting lightweight matchup, which is pretty poor, but anyway, it's happening.
Yeah. Like I said, I do like watching Giorgos fight. I think he is an all-action fighter when he wants to be. I just think that coming back into Charles Oliveira was just bad kind of matchmaking, really, because he's never on the level of what Charles Oliveira is. If Charles, I don't even think Charles looked ever really that good in that fight, but he still got the finish in midway point of that second round. Now Hirota's a guy who's really tough. You don't get many kind of flakes that come out of Japan that are bad fighters. And I mean, he's won a fair share of fights. He's lost a fair share of fights. Fighting for his job here. Lost to Ross Pearson in 2018. Ooh, that's not a good look. With his last win against Cole Miller, that was like 3 years ago. So yeah, the Volkanovski one, you can kind of see why he lost, because Volkanovski's a beast. But I think if Giorgos really puts himself out there, doesn't get taken down, doesn't get kind of bear hugged by what Hirota can usually do, he can get a hold of you and kind of keep you there. I think he beats Mizuta Hirota pretty comfortably, I want to say. But then, really, should I really be saying that about Giorgos? Has he even won a UFC fight before? So I don't know. I'm kind of struggling a little bit to be confident. And I think he won one fight way back in 2015, but I can't remember who it was against. But
I thought he only had one before then and lost.
No, I remember the Gilbert Burns. He lost.
He got submitted, didn't he?
Speed. But there was I don't know who it was that he lost, who he beat actually. But right. I don't know. I'm going to go Giorgos. I think he could stop Hirota actually. I think he's got some big power. So I'm going to go Giorgos via TKO early round number 3.
Oof, okay. Yeah, like you said, as soon as Hirota lost to Ross Pearson, it just says it all. I'm not being funny, folks, but Ross Pearson should not be in the UFC still. Like, he's way past his best. He's basically past his time. The sport's well past Ross Pearson.
Everybody's calling him out as well. You see, everybody's calling him out. All these young guys from Dana White's show.
Yeah, Hazrat as well. I'm like, why don't you fight him, Hazrat? You're well past him.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's an easy win. End of, folks. It's not a jibe at Ross Pearson, but he's an easy win. Hirata, he should be able to win this fight. He should win this fight. But I got no faith after losing to Ross Pearson. I'm going to go decision for Christos. I'm going to go decision win for him. I think, like you say, I think Hirata will get hit a couple of times, try to clamp him up, hold him for a bit. I think it'll be a to and fro couple of strikes, but I think Christoph will land the more powerful strikes over the 3 rounds, and I think he can get a 3-round win. But again, it's a fight that I couldn't care less about either guys being in the UFC. I don't think either of them should even be in the UFC, to be honest with you. They're 2 lightweights that are just there for cannon fodder for people to get wins over. And next up, we have in the flyweight division, another flyweight fight. One of the few that are going down. Hilton Weiss against Ben Legion. Man, this is a tough one, man. You got Ben, who's a little bit inactive for my liking. Even since like 2015, I think he's only had like 4 or 5 fights. I think he's a bit too inactive as a whole. But he's got a hell of a scrap, man, against Wilson, man. It's a step up. It's a test. It's a good one for Ben. It's like, right, Ben, are you there? Are you at that level? Because, you know, we lost to Formiga. So Formiga is that level. Okay, cool. You get another chance. I wouldn't want another chance, but at the same time, I can't see Wilson Reese losing this fight, if I'm honest with you. I don't think Ben has anything that Wilson can't handle. I think especially Wilson Reese gets it to the ground, man. I know Wilson Reese lost 2 in a row, and doesn't look like he should win, but I think he's levels above Ben, man. I do. Honestly, I think he's just a stronger grappler, especially on the grappling side of things. Striking-wise, yeah, Ben can have a bit more success maybe there, but man, Wilson Reese just needs to grab him, get him down, and just have a way of him. But I'm gonna go Wilson. How will I see Wilson win? I'll go decision, flyweight, highly likelihood. Decision win for Wilson Reese, but I would not be surprised if he submitted him.
Yeah, I'm kind of struggling with this one a little bit because I think that Wilson, this is a big fight for him if he wants to stay in the UFC. You're not going to be kept around. He's lucky that he's been kept around after 3 wins. Like 3 losses. 4 losses doesn't look good, especially when they're talking about getting rid of the flyweight division. If he wants to stay in the UFC, he needs to win this fight. I think it's pretty clear what he needs to do. He needs to get this fight to the ground and really look to do what kind of Formiga did against Ben Nguyen. Get him to the ground, just kind of use that definitive advantage you have on the floor. When it comes to striking, I think that Wilson's far better than what he was years ago. I think Ben Nguyen's a little bit more explosive, a little bit more powerful, can hit you with good shots, but I think he's also there to be hitting with good shots as well. I wanted to pick Ben Nguyen. I don't know why. Kind of early on before I started watching a couple of fights, but then as they come in, you can see that there's a little bit of discrepancy on the floor. It's whether he can get him to the floor. I think he can. I think if he does, Ben Nguyen doesn't get back to his feet. I think Wilson Hayes just kind of rides out rounds with positioning, with pitter-patter strikes, and kind of wins the fight through that. So I'm going to go Wilson Hayes for your decision. It could be close, but I like Wilson Hayes nonetheless.
Nice. Next up in the welterweight division, Okami's finally going down, finally in the welterweight division against Alexei Kunchenko, man. Dude, woof. Go ahead and give us your little analysis on this barn burner.
Yeah, Kunchenko. I like Kunchenko a lot. I think that when I went back and watched his fight with Thiago Alves, I thought it was a lot closer than it actually was, but I thought that actually Kunchenko fought a really smart kind of fight. Was never really out the fight, didn't really look in much trouble, I don't think, and won a fairly unanimous decision. Now, anywhere else in the world that could have been a split, I think, but I like Kunchenko in this one here. I think what does Okami really have? It's probably, if you're looking at one thing, it's maybe grappling. He's not going to out-grapple Alexei Kunchenko. It's not going to happen. Not unless he hits him with a strike, hurts him. He's just not going to out-grapple this guy, and I think that is what Okami's kind of best way to win this fight is to potentially grapple Alexei Kunchenko. I don't see it. I really don't see it. I think that Alexei's got his feet in the door in the UFC. I think this is maybe an easier match than the Thiago Alves one, because Thiago, to his credit, has at least got some striking acumen that can hurt him a little bit. But I still don't think that Alexei fought his full potential in that fight. I do think it's an easier fight against a very experienced opponent, but I think Kunchenko just kind of styles on Okami, could potentially get a finish, but I like Kunchenko in the fight convincingly.
Yeah, man, Okami, you know, 37 now. He's got he's back in his another stint in the UFC. I just don't see how he's going to get to close that down and keep hold of Alexei. I just think Alexei's got an array of striking and footwork to keep him at distance, and he's just going to be able to really mix it up well to put Okami off, trying to get in close. Because I think, like you say, Kunchenko's going to just catch him on the way in, and that's the problem he's going to have, man. And it's going to deter him away. Man, and like you said, Kunchenko didn't really show everything. It could have been jitters first fight. He could have just been playing it, I say safe, but just trying to get his feet under him in the UFC. But this time, I think this is like a good coming out party for him, saying, "Look, guys, I'm here just to knock people out. I'm going to mess people up," and I think he's going to wreck Okami's face. I think third round stoppage if he gets to there, but I think Kunchenko can wreck Okami in this one. Absolutely. What the heck?
And off and then back on.
I thought it was like a phone call or something. Okay, so it's only saying one of one. Oh, here we go, 2 of 2. We're back. Okay. Next up we have. I said that Kunchenko finished. Yes, I did. Yeah, sorry. Next up we have in the featherweight division, Usman Mokhtarian against Sodiq Yusuff. Okay. Yusuff is a guy who, if you watch him in Titan FC, got knocked out by a judo throw. So it was a title fight, and the guy went for, I want to say, it's not an Ishigari, but he went for basically. I've had guys try to do it on me as well. You can stop it, but you basically get the arm over the shoulder, you drop down to your knees, and then kind of roll over. But Yusuff kind of obviously tried to defend it in some way, but in doing so, he kind of face planted right onto the mat, knocked himself out temporarily, like Charlie Ward almost esque, and got stopped and ground pound. But then he came back, but he showed some potential in him. You know, he's got good pop in his hands, he's got good power. I do worry when he gets like a second or third round, his output can drop a little bit. I worry about if he's too explosive. I think he's going to win this fight, Yusuff, because Mokhtarian's fought again, Australian regional show. He got a twister submission again, folks. To get a twister done on you means that you're not very good at jiu-jitsu, which means you're not very good in general, because you should not be getting you shouldn't really have twisters done to you unless you've got a guy who's like a high-level black belt. Some of the guys he's fought in that promotion were not very good. I just think Yusuff is a better fighter. I think he's a powerful guy. I think he's just going to have his on the feet. He's just going to wait, time it, and just crack Mokhtarian and hurt Mokhtarian. I think if he is there to be taken down, Yusuff, he is definitely there to be taken down. He's shown that he's not very good at takedowns, defense, but I'm going to go with Yusuff stopping Mokhtarian in the, if not the first, second round.
See, I'm a little bit with this one. I like Yusuff as a fighter, actually. I think he's got a lot of attributes that are really kind of decent. And we've seen his last couple of fights, fought very composed against Mike Davis in the Dana White show, absolutely wrecked Dylan Took over in Bahrain. Jesus, that was nasty.
That right hand.
Yeah, then I did see that Titan fight you were talking about where he got levelled with a slam and then punches were followed up. And then Suman Mkhitaryan, who's I think he's the better half of the Mkhitaryan brothers, which is not saying much. A guy who was on the Ultimate Fighter last year with the good guys like Trezanos and Pena and so on, and had himself a decent fight on there. But he's a guy he's fought. You look at just his opposition, his caliber opposition, not good. I don't know. I think that you say if there is parts of his game you can get him. I don't know. I'm kind of struggling with this one. I will pick Youssef via decision. I think that it could get a little bit sloppy. I think it could be a little bit back and forth. But I just think that Sadiq Youssef has definitely got some kind of better qualities than what Suman has. So I'll go Sadiq Youssef via a decision here.
Okay, cool. Next up we have in the light heavyweight division, Mr. Paul Craig. Your fellow jock is going down to fight Jim Crute. I think it's pretty easy decision on who's going to win this one, but how do you see it going down?
Yeah, I fucking Paul Craig, man. Cannot believe he pulled that shit out of his arse last time against Ankalaev. I bet Ankalaev fairly heavily there in fucking 1 second, man. What I've seen out of Jim Crute and what I've seen in some of his other fights, that he's very, very aggressive, a lot of power, a lot of striking. I've seen a couple of wins out there via submission at arm triangle choke in the Hex Fight series. You can find most of their fights online, which is pretty decent. He's still a fairly, I want to say green fighter, but he still fought guys with decent records and beat them as well. Majority of them, I should say. But I like his aggressiveness. The only thing he has to do here is just don't be stupid. And if this fight somehow finishes on the mat, just disengage, get back to your feet. Paul Craig, I think his striking's getting better. It always has been through his Bama days into the UFC, but it's still nothing to write home about. And I think he tries. I think he thinks he's a better striker than what he actually is. I think for me, he just needs to try and somehow clinch up, and then maybe flop to his back and try and find a submission through that. I mean, he was getting beat up for 14 minutes, 59 seconds of that fight against Ankalaev, and the guy still pulls out a way to win. And that's the thing that's scaring me here, because he did the exact same against Carl Moore. He was losing that fight and somehow just found a way to get it to the mat and found a submission. That's got, like, I said after that fight, I am never betting a Paul Craig fight, no matter if his opponent's John Jones, because he could be losing for 24 minutes of that fight and he finds a way to get a guillotine or a triangle choke or an arm bar, you name it. So, and I was so pissed after that fight, because I was like, yes, 5-10 seconds, that's an easy, one of my easiest bets of the year. And then I was like, fuck, did that really just happen? I'm like, no way. And I think that Crute, he's still green, and that's something that if maybe Paul Craig is smart and he does go to his back, that someone like Jim Crute might initiate on the ground, which would just be suicide, I think. Now, I think he could maybe, and saying that Ankalaev was down on the ground for a bit of time and never got caught in anything, but it's just that any moment that up and catch him. Now, don't get me wrong, for the simple fact that I'm Scottish, I want all the Scottish people to win, just because there's more a chance that if they keep on winning, they come back to Scotland, they come back to Glasgow. And obviously, for the growth of the sport in the country, we need these guys that are in the UFC, guys and girls in the UFC, to keep on winning, just to get more people to come into the sport and grow the sport in the country and within Europe and so on. I think Jim Crute should win this fight. Just don't be stupid. Just don't get caught in a position where Paul can grab a body limb, and you should win the fight. So I'll go Jim Crute. I think he could knock this Paul Craig out. I think he's there to be hit. So give me Jim Crute via TKO.
Okay, I'm actually going to go Paul Craig.
Oh.
Because what I saw in Jim Crute was, he can punch, but he doesn't punch he doesn't knock people out. He has to hit guys a lot. Are you there, Matt? Oh, wow.
That was me.
We need who is your supplier, right, of Wi-Fi? Because have a word with them cunts and tell them to make it stronger.
Leather. I think it's this wee drizzly shit. I think it's affecting it.
It's fucking cunt.
Shocking.
Fucking shocking is the one way to put it. Fucking bastards. Right. Yeah, I'm going to go with Paul Craig. I just think that Jim Crute doesn't knock people out. He hits them hard. He's shown a few fights out when I was watching, but he doesn't knock people out. I think he's not a knockout artist. I really don't. I just think he's so aggressive. He just lands more than the other guys, so much so that eventually the guy gets worn out by the punches. I think Paul Craig can just keep the distance on this one. Just let the guy miss, because he's not very technically good with the footwork. He just charges forward. Paul Craig just needs to shoot down for a takedown. It's easy. It's an easy takedown. Honestly, I think if Paul can't get a takedown on this kid, I'll be absolutely flabbergasted, because the kid ain't that great on that kind of aspect. I just think that getting down, submitting, and like you said, I just think Paul can actually get the win here. I just don't think Jim's that polished off. I think he needs to work on his striking a hell of a lot more than he does, because he gets hit a lot too. He's been battered in some fights where he won the fight, but his face was just mangled. Like, he got bloodied and everything. So I'm actually going to go Paul Craig. I think Paul Craig can actually get the stoppage with a submission. I think he can actually get the win here. There's something about, I just don't think he's a knockout artist, Jim, and I think that kind of plays in Paul's favour. Someone that heavy and big can't knock someone out. Who hits heavy can't. It just isn't heavy enough. So I'm going to go submission Paul Craig. Next up we have interesting matchup. Jake Matthews and Tony Martin. That's a hell of a matchup. That two 155ers who basically liked their cake and have agreed to. They're just doing 170 now. They can't be bothered doing that 15-pound cut. Look, Jake Matthews, I think he's grown into the 170 weight class. He's fight after fight, you just see him get more and more confident, sharper in that weight class, looking better. Tony Martin, again, he is the same. He looks crisp and fast and sharp. So I think this is when the speed thing might not play into Tony's advantage as much, because with Jake previously being a 155er, I think he has that kind of similar speed and reaction times as Tony would have. But I think this is where Jake needs to just kind of use. Jake is strong. Jake is a strong kid. Like at 155, he was a monster. I think still at 170, he's strong as shit. Tony Martin has got a beautiful jab and cross, man. He's got a lovely one too, and he just messes people up. He messes people's days up. Jake can take a hit. Is that what's up? What's up? What's the score?
I'm just thinking that a couple hours ago the Cardinals were 10-0 up, and now it's now 45.
Chargers! Yeah. Sorry, folks. Yeah, as we said before, Chargers Cardinals are on, so it's a big day. Big day. And thankfully, the Chargers are pulling it out the bag. Yeah, I just think that Jake Matthews is strong. He's tough. And oh gosh, man, I think Tony Martin's quick. He's got good hands. I think what puts me off Tony Martin is I think he's going out with that Kayla Harrison. Yeah, and he was defending the alley. Big asterisk there. It says a lot about the person, about the human being that Tony Martin is. I'm going to go Jake Matthews just because I think Tony Martin is it says a lot about him as a human being when he's going out with that Kayla Harrison, who could absolutely dominate him, and managed by Ali and ex-terrorist. It's terrorist links. I'm out. Jake Matthews all the way. Going Jake Matthews decision.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good fight. I like Martin. I like what I've seen from Tony in his 170 debut against Ryan the Flair. The Flair's hard to look good against. Caught him with a beautiful crisp head kick, put him out. And now he's got a kind of young. This is what's quite interesting because he had LaFleur, who was at the tail end of his career, tough guy, and now he's got Jake Matthews, who's maybe starting to come into his prime. Well, not his prime, but we might start to see the best of him. He's only 24 years old. He's still a guy who's been around the UFC for a long time. 4 or 5 years, had a lot of fight. He's had some decent guys in there, Kevin Lee and James Vick, Li Jingliang. So he's fought some decent guys, coming off a round 1 submission, on a 3-fight win streak. And when when I seen him in that Bojan fight, I actually thought this guy could get his. I think I maybe actually said on here he might get his marching orders and maybe go back out in the regionals and train a bit more. But he seems to be pulling it around. He seems like he's filled into that 170 body. Striking as well, which
oh, wait there, bro.
Sorry?
Wait there, bro. Poor connection again. Wait there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I think I'm just kind of struggling with this one. I want to pick Anthony Martin just because he's got a great surname. But I think I'm going to go... I'm going to edge Jake Matthews. I think this is a back and forth fight. I think the start of this fight is going to be pretty big in the aspect of this fight. I'm going to go split decision win for Jake Matthews. So I think that Tony's going to have his moments, but I think Jake's just going to do enough at home to get the W.
Okay, and terrorist links. So go next up to light heavyweight, man. Tyson Pedro against Shogun. Man, that's an interesting one, man. How you going to see that one go down, bro?
To see Shogun at this kind of part of his career where it's fairly obvious what they're doing. They're trying to get these young guys wins against big legends of the game. Like we were talking about earlier on, Israel Adesanya. They're putting him in there with these former UFC champions, former Pride champions, just trying to make a name for the new generation, and it's pretty sad to see. But Shogun is very he's getting to be very short one now, where he can't really take that his chin's gone. Like I say, could he make 185 now? I don't know. I think it would even deplete him even more. So, but in saying that, he's only lost once in the last 3 years, and it was a kind of vicious knockout to Anthony Smith. And Tyson Pedro is not good. I still think he's got a lot of work to do in his overall game. I think there's aspects of his game which are really good, but I still think there's some parts of his game that is not great. I think he's there. He makes some questionable decisions. I think in the Latifi fight, Latifi was trying to grab his legs, and he still decided to throw knees when he should have been trying to get the underhooks on that guy. Now that's going to be harder than anything to do against Latifi because he's so small and stout, but you don't knee him when he's trying to take you down. I think I think he has got some power on his feet. I think he's got some really good jiu-jitsu, really strong kid. I would like to see Shogun come out here and kind of tune up Tyson Pedro a little bit, but it's hard to pick Shogun. I really want to pick Shogun, but I can't pick Shogun here. I think he could get submitted, and I think he could get knocked out, and it's just that double-edged sword, but you don't know what's going to happen. I'll pick Tyson Pedro. I'll pick him via, I think he maybe hurts or stumbles Shogun on the feet, and then I think he maybe clasps up a submission and gets the... I don't think Shogun will tap out. I think he'll just go to sleep. So, as bad as it is to say, I'm going to pick Tyson Pedro to beat Mauricio Shogun here.
It's actually a horrible matchup. I agree with you. It is horrible because Shogun is... even in the fights that he won in the past 3 years, like you said, he's only lost one. He was wobbled. He's shown that he can't take the punch that well. He was just very smart in evading it. But Tyson Pedro's got a pretty poor fight IQ, in my opinion. I think he just makes bad decisions in general. I don't think he's got a great fight IQ. Yeah, oh gosh, I'm so stuck on it as well because I don't want to pick Pedro because I just think he's got a poor fight IQ, but I just think he needs to land one. That's all he needs to do is land one decent, not great, decent punch on Shogun. And you'll see Shogun kind of wobble and get a bit... And I think being at home with the crowd behind him, he's going to have an adrenaline going through his body that will be surreal. I'm going to go Tyson Pedro via knockout. I think he'll just TKO, just hurt Shogun, get him against the cage. As long as you get Shogun pressed against the cage, Shogun gets a bit stuck and a bit lost. And just throw a flurry of punches at him, and you'll win. because it'll just, he can't take one, so he'll just crumble. So yeah, I'll go Tyson Pedro. I'm going to go first round because I just random, because I think Pedro's got poor fight IQ. He has to get him out early because Shogun could pick him apart for free if he does get a chance. But co-main event, Mark Hunt. I think he might retire after this, even if he wins. 44 years old, at home. Last time he fights at home.
It's his last fight in the UFC. His last fight in his contract as well. So
he's got to hang him up, Annie. Let's be honest. He's got to hang him up. Against Justin Willis. I'm going Hunt all the way here because I just love Hunt. Yeah, Justin Willis is not a bad fighter. Trained at AKA, I believe, off the top of my head. So he's not a bad fighter. He's a big boy, just like Mark Hunt. So the pair of them, you know, they're going to be easily hitting the 300 mark when they get in there. So they're going to be huge guys in that ring. So good luck being the referee in that one. But you're not going to see Justin Willis shooting in for takedowns and doing acrobatic moves. He's quite, like we say, he's just a heavy set, heavy hitting guy. Mark Hunt, though, technically, he's a way superior striker than Justin Willis. So I think Mark Hunt could actually go out and win this fight. I think he could land on Willis and get that win. I think he can go out, ride that, be a very strong horse, riding that horse and go off into the sunset with a victory at home. I think Justin Willis, this is a chance for Willis really to get a good name on his record. Like Mark Hunt, everyone knows who Mark Hunt is. It's a good name to have on your record, but I just think Hunt can do it. I think the fairy tale in me wants it to happen. Kind of like I wanted Dan Henderson to beat Bisping in Manchester and get the title, and it didn't happen. I just think Mark Hunt can go out there and get that win. He looks in good shape. For some reason, he's getting older and he's getting in better shape than he was before. But yeah, I'll go with Mark Hunt. Last hurrah, finish over Justin Willis. Walk away finish, walk away knockout.
I want to pick Mark Hunt so bad, but I picked Mark Hunt so bad against Alexa Oleinik that I lost my biggest bets of the year on Mark. But it's like, is Justin Willis going to come out here and take him down? I don't think he is. I think if it's a stand-up fight, you've only got to favour one guy. I think that Willis can take a shot. He's tough, but you look at the people that he's beaten in the UFC compared to who Mark Hunt's faced in the UFC, it's night and day, really. Mark has faced the best guys there is. Justin has faced the worst guys in the heavyweight division. There's no James Mulheron, Alan Crowder, Chase Sherman. That says it all, really. And this is a massive jump from those three to Mark Hunt, even though Mark Hunt might be at the tail end of his career. I think he quit a little bit easy in that fight with Alexa Oleinik, but maybe he realised that I can't deal with this guy on the ground, and just thought, I'm going to get tangled up here. I'm not going to make it out, and just tapped. I thought he was a little bit quick. I thought he might have had a bit more fight in him, but I find it hard not seeing Mark Hunt win this fight. If it stays standing, he's going to be. I think that Justin's going to be a little bit more wary of striking with him. I do think that Justin's got a fairly decent jab, but I think that Mark will have tools to kind of counteract that. I'm going to go with Hunto one last time at home. If this is his last fight in the UFC, it's probably his last fight he's going to fight in his home country, you would think. So I'll go Mark Hunt via knockout in the first round, taking him back to like the old times when I just think it'd be a fairly nice way for him to actually leave. I think with a win in his home country. So Mark Hunt via knockout in the first. If not, I think he could potentially maybe pick Justin Willis apart and land the heavier shots, where it gets Justin Willis gun shy and doesn't really want to throw too much, and he doesn't throw enough output out there, and just Mark Hunt does enough and wins a decision. But I like Mark Hunt in the fight.
Nice. And then main event time. Interesting matchup. Junior Santos against Tuivasa. Well, this is a hell of a step up for Mr. Tuivasa. Because Junior Santos has reinvented himself. How do you break down this main event for us, bro?
I think this is a massive, massive step up, like a huge step up. I've never really been overly high on Tai Tuivasa. I think his first 2 wins in the UFC are against the lowest of the low, and Askar and Rashad Coulter. Now Arlovsky's a name, but he's a name he's so up and down. Sometimes he's really good, sometimes he's really bad. And Tai just outworked him in that fight, landed the bigger shots, and Arlovsky really didn't throw all that much. But this is a big step up to JDS. I'm a little bit surprised they've went with this matchup, to be honest with you. But maybe they're just trying to find another star in that heavyweight division, and they see Tai Tuivasa as that guy. Honestly, I think Junior Dos Santos is my favourite heavyweight of all time. I've loved this guy since I first seen him in the UFC. Fought the who's who, future UFC Hall of Famer.
Easy.
Beat some of the best guys. He's beat like the most, like Cain Velasquez, Stipe Miocic. Coming off a really kind of solid performance against Blagoy Ivanov, just picked him apart for 25 minutes. If Tai Tuivasa can't hurt him in the early part of this fight, I think he gasses out a little bit, and I think that GDS picks him apart. I really do. And GDS might have the kill shot later on in that fight as well. So if you like Tai Tuivasa, I think you've got to get him to win early. I don't see him winning. I think he gets tired, he gets super sloppy. I think GDS just keeps him at the end of his jab, hits him up with combinations. I'm going to go Junior Dos Santos to win via decision. I think Tai's going to be hard to get out of there. But I think GDS can fight that long game like he did against Ben Rothwell and just fight to a game plan and win this fight. But like I said, massive step up for Tuivasa.
Yeah, big step up. I'd say Junior Santos in his UFC time, he's only lost to the top dogs. Like lost to Alistair Overeem, who was a top dog in MMA in general, Stipe and Cain Velasquez. So he's only lost to like top guys. Everyone else, he gets the win, and I think fight IQ is huge in this one. Junior Santos is very smart as a fighter. It doesn't often make wrong decisions. It's just sometimes he gets caught out by the better guy in the day. I think Dos Santos, like you said, mate, that long game that he's applied to himself now, knowing that he shouldn't be getting stuck into those wars, is fantastic. He's at ATT. He's got some great. He's looking in great shape. He's looking after himself to the point because he knows that, you know, as a heavyweight, it's kind of their prime years now. And I think that Tai Tuivasa, like you said, that home crowd, adrenaline through the roof, main event, biggest fight of your life, could gas himself out quick. Adrenaline dumps can hit him. 5 rounds. How many times has JDS done 5 rounds? Plenty. How many times has Tuivasa done 5 rounds? Like you said, Tuivasa, we've seen he has a bit excess on him. He carries around a bit of excess. It sounds okay at the start for throwing shots, you know, when you're on top of someone, but come to the second round, third round, fourth round, that excess that you have that you don't need starts to really weigh on you. It's like wearing a weighted vest. You know, you don't need that extra weight. You know, it's not functional weight that he's carrying. I've got to go JDS, but I think maybe you can get a 4th, 5th round stoppage here. I think you can just catch Tuivasa, especially when you're tired, your jaw's low, you're trying to get air, you're breathing short, you know, breathing heavy, breathing faster. I think Junior Santos can stop Tuivasa in the 4th or 5th round. So I'm going to go for a late stoppage for JDS here.
Nice.
Will's bets are coming up now with 2 cards. So are you going to tell me, Will, it's a potential parlay time?
Maybe. We've had some lines come out tonight. I already have one bet for the Australia card. I have bet Junior Dos Santos minus 150. So I think that's where the line is now. I bet that 4 or 5 days ago.
Okay.
And it's I feel pretty confident in what I see out of Junior Dos Santos and what I think he can do to tie Tuivasa. So there's not many odds out for that one. I think that Jake Matthews is a pretty big kind of favourite in that one, but I quite like him to potentially get that. Who else do I like in that card? Mark Hunt, he's -115. I think that's a bet I quite like, but I quite like these cards when they're back to back because you can take one from one card and move it across and have a two-man parlay in that. So I'm going to probably look at some of that. Regarding the Ultimate Fighter finale, Joseph Benavidez, he was a +125 underdog in America. That's changed. It's -120 a piece. But if he gets back to underdog odds, I think I would like that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Bryan Caraway might not be a bad kind of small bet on a big kind of favourite, big underdog, I should say. So yeah, but looking at that, you could maybe put, if you're confident in Kamaru Usman, you could put Kamaru Usman with Junior Dos Santos, Alexei Kunchenko, whoever you like, and get yourself close to an even money parlay, which is not a bad thing either. So yeah, I think it's kind of still early. There's not too many lines out. I've not looked into the betting lines all that much, but I'll probably have a couple of plays in either card. So yeah.
Get your bets on down below, folks. You've let us know what you've done before in the past few weeks. It's good to get those interactions. And if you get any big dollar bills, let us know as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. It seems a lot jittery, so apologies because of the awesome...
It's been horrible.
Yeah, it's been horrible because of Skype, but thank you so much for tuning in. Again, we're back next week for another breakdown. More fun. Hopefully Skype's a bit nicer next week. But thank you so much for tuning in. Give us a follow and enjoy your weekend of 2 fight cards of fights.